Okay, welcome everyone. It is the 22nd of November. Um, sorry, it's the 22nd of November. I'm already pushing all the wrong buttons. Sorry. Welcome everybody. Okay, so um, let us begin with the Bivens decision. This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden, and it shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there a response to the Bivens decision for the first time? Hearing none, is there a response to the Bivens decision for the second time? This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner to eliminate all conflict and false allegations. Is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? If so, you can just raise your hand. You can put a note in the chat. You can open your mic and just say, I'm here. Everyone's welcome. We just want to know if there's any response to the Bivens decision for the third time. Anyone who is here under false pretenses, anyone who is working for any foreign government, including the territorial United States or municipal United States, anyone who is being paid or coerced to be here must must fully disclose their presence or purpose now or leave the conference call. If you subsequently show up as federal witnesses, you're discredited for failure to disclose. Are you now or have you ever received money or personal support of any kind from the intelligence community? Upon no response to this notice of the Bivens decision, this meeting shall now proceed. Welcome, everyone. So let's just continue our study as we end all evil and we rebuke evil from this entire galaxy. One of the steps in cultural manipulation of speech is the creation of propriety and politeness. These define the artificial enemies of society that culture would have you focus on instead of authority. They are designed arbitrarily to divert attention from the evil of authority. In our everyday, experience, guys, you might hear things like inclusion, political correctness, kindness. That's what they're talking about, right? These are arbitrary diversions. What would the world be like if you were free to open your mouth? The minds of people are tethered under ideas called cultural propriety, political correctness, and politeness, because, the corporate fictions have programmed this into us, right? Political correctness is engineered slavery. It focuses attention on controlling the speech of people in such a way that they believe the enemy of people is impoliteness. As we walk into Thanksgiving, in the coming week, and we all get together and we gather with friends and family, I think we're all going to have to be subject to this type of conversations, and it's really difficult. I find it difficult. I was saying that before we started the recording. I find it really hard to sit around and listen to people who I really love, like my family, try to be politically correct and talk about the politics and talk about, all the inclusion and whatever all this crap is. So Anyway, but these people, they are taught to believe that they are naturally racist, sexist, and bigots. Only when culture keeps a tight control on speech are people safe from their own demons. Culture teaches the limited value of people. Coarseness of language is the shameful speaking of words or concepts outside the propriety of culture. Isn't that rich, right, guys? They've they've created what you can and cannot say, right? What is appropriate? What is not appropriate? While there is nothing evil in a word, and languages are reinvented and molded every day, culture would have us believe that the words we use are where evil lives, instead of the crushing of the human spirit employed by authority. A curse is a wish of harm upon a person. Swearing is an oath of action. Yet both of these things have been perverted so as to teach you that speech is what is evil and not the destruction of freedom that evil people employ. Every time you find an element of speech that is culturally unacceptable to speak, you will find a scapegoat. The specific instance is irrelevant. Culture always creates propriety to hide tyranny. In the beginning of the National Socialist movement of Germany, culture was engineered to make defending a Jew unseemly. It likewise made it impolite to challenge those who condemn the Jews. This pattern is found in every culture ever created. Nazi culture was not after the control of the Jews. It was after the control of the Germans. So we will all be able to attest probably that we experience this same type of control and manipulation in our families. We have it in our probably all spaces, churches, schools, wherever, and even on our assemblies. So what happens is that people are, well intentioned, maybe they're paid. I don't know. I've put this idea out there now for everyone to consider that you are dealing with paid opposition. And I'm getting a lot of pushback from people, but most of the people that push back on it are supporting and creating chaos and confusion. And none of them come here to this call to discuss it with everyone. And so what does everyone here think about that? Because I view it like, hey, everyone should come here. Everyone has a voice. Everyone can share what how they interpret that. Um, and it would be nice to get some voices behind it because I want to know, do you guys feel that it's wrong to know who you're working with? Go ahead, Dorothy. I yield the floor to you.
I think it's absolutely right to want to know who you are working with, being associated with, and what is the mindset of the people you are associated with. And if the heart is, let's say, vibrating on the frequency of being pure and love and everything that is our creator, it should not be a problem to want to know who you are working with. But if the intention is corporate, then they will not come here because they don't want to come to the light and they don't want to be tipped on the fingers and say, listen, you can't control. This is not a business. This is an assembly. We are a family and we should learn to coexist. So that's my thoughts on this. And this is why I think they will not come here. They have a lot to say, but when they need to bring it to light, they don't want to bring it here. They don't want to bring it to light. And I just want to say this. I was not on here last week. And thank you, Niti, that you allowed us to bring a situation of Michelle here. Because in a blink of an eye, suddenly everything was sorted out. It's like, voila, the stuff is sorted. So that showed to me it was addressed. Why? Because it was brought to light. Thank you. I heal.
Thanks, Dorothea. I was so happy about that. And also I want to put a special shout out to Keith Black. I was so proud of you on Thursday. This man was being totally attacked in the chat of a meeting, and he was very professional. He just got whatever answers he wanted. He spoke to Anna, in the ways, I mean, just very professional. And this is the business of our government. But, we are owed a family style government. It's not supposed to be corporate. We're alive. And so I just wanted to give Keith a big shout out. That was awesome. And I really enjoyed watching that. He didn't react at all, totally professional. And I yield to you, Thomas, to continue the topic.
Can you refresh the question?
Sure. I was saying that based on the reading that we just did about the end of all evil, and before I do that, I just like to know who this Zoom user is, if you don't mind identifying yourself. We just want to put your name on the screen. I'm pushing for you to unmute if you don't mind, and just let us know.
Lois Bender with Ohio Assembly.
Hi, Lois Bender. Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I messed up. I don't know how to do this very good.
You didn't mess up. I'm just putting your name in here. That's fine. I mean,
Okay, great.
I know that a lot of times people are on a different device, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, that's my case. I got a new phone, so I don't quite know how to use it that well yet.
I don't know if I didn't spell your name right. How do I spell? Did I?
Lois
Oh, I
is
did do it right.
Lois.
Okay, good.
Bender with a Bender.
Gotcha. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you.
Thomas, the topic was, I mean, we were just discussing how society has been shaped with this idea of political correctness and politeness, which is evil, and it ignores the actual truth of the fact of, the fact that you're being employed by authority. And, and that the fact that people are made to be so easily offended by authentic and honest um, exchanges, basically. So I yield back to you, Thomas.
Okay, I didn't get the specific question there, but from what I remember before was people have the right to speak what they want to bring forward. It has to have intention and substance to it, and they have to bring it peaceful and lawfully, and it should be in the truth for us. And so we just have to sift through that and approach it with love. But the way I best heard it is the creme rises to the top no matter what, and we're in a superior general jurisdiction. And once people comprehend that, it's kind of like the prophet that tells that young, you know, soldier, another, like a protege prophet. He says, "Lord, let him see. Just let him see." And they were just on a hillside, and it just lit up with, the presence of spirit that is there to protect and to provide and guide. So, I mean, that's the scenario. We just have to come at this with grace, and patience. This could take a while to turn around. So, with that, I yield. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Joanne, on.
I think you might have slightly reworded the question from what I heard. So what I heard you say was, is it important for us to identify and know if we're working with paid infiltrators? My answer to that is no, and I'll quantify what I mean by that. So it's easy to get caught up in conversation with fellow assembly members, questioning and wondering. And I totally get that, especially if you're being gaslit and really wondering if you're on the right path. However, one needs to have a quantifiable way to measure and say, okay, is this me and my emotion? Or am I looking at occurrences that are clearly wrong and I'm justified in going in this direction and pointing them out? So what does that mean? What does that look like? So if your assembly, for example, is silencing people in a live meeting, removing them from channels, banning them from the assembly, are making up arbitrary guidelines that they're acting upon, dissolving an ombuds committee so that they're no longer needed, oversight committee members whose names have not been revealed to the assembly, lack of transparency. How would one know that that's wrong? Well, we would go back to what Anna is teaching us. What are the guidelines looking like? So it's not me acting or feeling on my emotions, although my emotions are there and very clear because most of us have a very strong inner compass of justice, and that's why we're here. But we go back and we measure those parameters and we see that those boxes are not supposed to be checked. Those are wrong. That's wrong. So whether that comes from someone who is a paid infiltrator or someone who has gone amiss or is really more comfortable in being in a position of power and control and needs to be pushed back slightly, it's important that we're able to, in a non-emotional way, identify and measure that. I yield.
I think that was really beautifully articulated and really some important points. I made some notes, but let's hear what Annie and them have to say, and then I'll let you guys. I mean, I'd like to respond to that if I can afterwards. I yield.
This is Annie. This is Carl, my husband.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, Carl. Nice to meet you.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
So, in response to that question, it's good to know who we're dealing with. However, in anything that's important, you give energy to that which is what you want to create. And so, one of the biggest things that I'm learning from Anna's teachings is that when you do come across tyranny or people acting unlawfully and in fraud, then you just keep moving forward and build it. You go forward and you continue in good standing. You follow due process, you rebut, you bring forward the things that need to be brought forward, like claims of harm and stuff like that. And instead of going directly, like if they're ignoring, if the people who are in tyranny and removing the ombudsman committee and taking down the juror pillars and basically dissolving the assembly, shoot, sometimes they're not even papered correctly. And sometimes they even resign. That doesn't stop building the assembly. Anna is pretty clear, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about this. She says, don't allow that to stop you. Move forward. Send your claims to the Federation. Make sure that you have your continuity of records. Make sure that you go ahead. And if the people within the assembly are stuck in either the what did you call political correctness, the crabs trying to pull you into get in alignment or whatever, self-govern. Because how's that any different than how the de facto or the British territorial or the Roman municipal works? They're giving you offers. They're making offers for you to like get off track. So you just say, yeah, no, thank you. And here's a claim of harm. And here we're going to send it to the Federation, and we're going to build our juror pillar, and we're going to bring forward what we need. We're going to go ahead and call the General Assembly together and have a vote, and we're going to keep moving forward. And they're going to do what they're going to do no matter what. I mean, they're going to do whatever it is. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care about their nonsense, because how and in what ways is it going to affect me unless I consent? And I don't consent. I don't consent to evil, and I don't consent to fraud any more than I would with anything else. And as we build our 4 pillars, and I actually have some questions on that. I have some really, really good questions about this. How we keep captured assemblies from continuing to rip us down, and establishing our jural pillar and our General Assembly and our I know there's the militia, and then the international banking. Like, they're all supposed to be separate, so they're almost like 4 separate assemblies, and I want to clarify that a little bit. But moving forward, the Federation is responsible for the coordinators, and the claim should go to them. This is what's going on, and you handle your people, and we're going to come forward, and here we're going to bring forward some new coordinators to work with. Please teach us and help us. And we're going to keep building it, and we're going to keep doing outreach and everything else. And I have to tell you, we're having success now, especially since Anna on November 17th, we won. We won. Move forward. Now we have enforcement, and we've got enforcement anyway. We are seeing that. We've got to put forward our public notices and let them know we're here and you're not getting away with it. And we are reporting crimes, and we're building it, and y'all are put on notice. And then we start using our jural assemblies, and we bring our people in, and we bring those claims forward, and we let them know you're being turned into the IRS, and you're being turned into the Treasury, because in your tribunals, you don't belong here in the first place. District courts, go back to DC. Goodbye. See ya. So we got to just keep moving forward and building it. And you guys, to have this platform, thank you so much for giving voice, because this empowers us. This gives us the answers when we're not getting them anywhere else, and people are lying and saying all this other nonsense. But when we're coming from our hearts and we're actually building it and finding the people and bringing them in, all we need some help with is like dotting the I's and crossing the T's, right? We just need some help to make sure we're staying on track. And if we're getting off track, we course correct. And as long as we have the people who have the knowledge, for those of us who are a little bit newer, I've only been in the assembly 20 months. So, I need a little bit of direction and some answers, especially since I've been lied to for over a year in the assembly. It's like, oh, wow, that's wrong. Well, good to know. How do we fix that? And then we move forward. But you guys, we're being successful, so move forward. And that's all I got to say about that. Anyway, yada, yada.
That's awesome, Annie. Thank you so much. First I'd like to, good. Thank you, Justin. Justin fixed it. Welcome everyone who's just walking in. Listen, I want everyone here to know how much I appreciate all of you. It is hard. It is really hard, even on, for me, for us, and all of you help to teach and polish me too. Okay. And I just want to say that to your point, Joanne, about recognizing the paid opposition and all of these things, we don't mean necessarily to recognize them as that, and have a collection of evidence about it or something of that nature, like to make accusations. When people behave that way, a lot of us might have moments where we behave in some of those ways because of the brainwashing and the mind control. Because what happened with the corporatocracy is they programmed us to divide ourselves between me and I, and to also they made us double-minded to be confused. And if maybe people can't really comprehend this, maybe you can get with it. I feel like most people that come to anything that I'm hosting, you guys are a little bit on a higher frequency, so you might already realize this, but we need to bring the me and the I and back into alignment. And there's this kind of a paranoia that they want to create all the time because there always has to be an emergency. When you have someone who's on your assembly who's creating an emergency, then you should 100% look at them like, what is going on? And that is a very corporate minded thing to do. And it isn't okay. And there's no reason for any of that because in your family style government, if there's a concern that someone has, they should be able to bring it forward and say, hey, I think that we probably don't want to do this because it looks like this, it creates this feeling, or it doesn't seem right to me for whatever the reason is. And then people should have the opportunity to respond to that or have a discussion about it. But they literally, you know, most of the things that we're tripping over is somebody bringing forward fear, and it's guised as illegal, unlawful fear, so that it gets your attention real quick. Like, what? We're not trying to be hung. Like, what are you talking about? Because the way our law works is when you are unlawful or you're causing harm, you're going to be hung. Okay. So treason is like not a joke. And so it becomes very serious very quickly. And we just need to be really mindful about how we bring something forward. 99, like even when we talk about the way that the behavior was on the, you know, coordinator call, where someone is accusing someone in the chat of being something or whatever, you know, let's just pay attention. Anna she doesn't care about that. She could be scrutinizing all of that. She's not. She's just talking to everyone, right? So let that be an example. And what Annie said is 100% true, because at the end of the day, there's going to be some of us that are going to get it, and there's going to be some of us that aren't going to get it right. But the way that natural law works is you can't get it wrong. If you're honoring natural law, it's going to be easy. It's going to be ease and flow. It's not going to be hard. If it is too hard, if it is too convoluted, if it's raising your blood pressure, if it is making you terrified, it's not true. Even our Creator has said there is nothing to fear but fear itself. And so if you are in fear of something, maybe you're just tired. I have to say, I was a victim to this, and I am still a victim to it a lot because I get attacked constantly just for doing like this Saturday call, right? Or whatever, right? So because I'm doing it, then there's 25 people coming after me going, oh my God, like let's shut Neethi down, right? And the same, I mean, it happens on all, and so I also, I'm just a living woman, all right? Like I have feelings too. I'm alive, all right? And so it also makes me feel like, God, because for me, the problem is that whatever happens, it gets escalated all the way to Anna. And then Anna's yelling at me. It's not like someone else on the assembly is saying something to me. It's like literally, whoa. I don't know who's doing this, but we're not doing that. Did you guys just see that, or was it just me? Okay. The tech thing is not okay. Anyway.
Sorry, Nikki, I pressed escape on my keyboard.
Okay, no problem.
I don't know why that happened.
Well, I'm glad that someone did something and it wasn't like some ghost, a tech ghost. Thanks for letting me know. Otherwise it feels really creepy, right, Michelle? This is like, well, what just happened? Anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. Anyway, I just want to say it's really exhausting having to every second like defend yourself, right? And so these things go all the way up to the Federation, and Anna's like, Neethi, what are you doing? Right. And I'm like, why don't you ask them if they've even come to talk to me? Because they won't come talk to me because they're wrong. And if they were right, they would just come and talk to me and just say, hey, why did you say that? Do you follow what I'm saying? I've had many of you come to me yourselves and say, hey, why did you say this? What did that mean? You know, can you explain this to me more or whatever? And that I appreciate that because then I can, you know, we can clarify it amongst ourselves, right? Because it's easy to have a misunderstanding. Anyway, I just want to say that I appreciate all of you for helping me also keep those pieces in check, you know, and we have to manage that going forward on our assemblies, and all of us, like all of us are having to come out of this thing, you know, and get out of it. And frankly, Annie, maintaining documented due process like on an ongoing basis when you're being attacked like that is truly exhausting. And it is very difficult for that to be um, you know, and when I say Anna's yelling at me, she's just like, what's happening? Like, why is this happening? Um, you know, and then I'll tell her, and then she'll be like, okay, well, I don't have time for this crap. Like, make it stop. You know, the way grandma does to the grandkids, right? She says, what's happening? I tell her what's happening, and then she's like, okay, well, make it stop. You know, and then I'm like, okay, but I didn't even start that. Also, you know, it was my sister or my brother over there who was acting crazy. And can you just go and lop them on the head? You know, it's that too, right? Anyway, Thomas, you have something to contribute, and then Dorothea, I yield the floor. Is Thomas frozen for everyone or just me? Kind of frozen. He might.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
Regarding that,
I think you're rubber banding, Thomas. Is that true for everybody or just me? Yeah. Okay, you're rubber banding a little bit. Dorothy, if you want to try to speak while he's trying to fix that, that's fine.
Thank you. Thomas, are you going to be okay? Can I share? Okay, you will not hear me now. Okay. Um, I just needed to also have some clarity about the assemblies in this way. There are 4 pillars, and they are all different, but in a way that I comprehended, they dare to support one another in a sense of coexisting, co-working to form the fullness of the governance that we're moving into. Is that the way it should be? Even though they are assembly, like separate pillars, but co-working, coexisting. Do I have this in my eye, is it correct in that way? That's one question I would like to ask. And another thing I would want to ask, um, is it a good thing if, I know it would be good, when people start to take hands, even though they're from different groups, in the sense of that, taking hands, like having agreements in a sense, okay, let's help one another here, let's stop the BS and let's just work together in a way to get this up and going for all our people. That's also something that has been on my heart this past week, because I kind of pick it up that there is something happening here with our African people. people trying to take hands in different ways. So that would be good if that can happen. But like I said, I just want to have very full clarity about the pillars. Can it be like, let's say the jural, they have their thing, but they're helping everybody to support,
Okay, let me
to
stop you.
coexist?
I'm going to stop you right there. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, may I? Okay. The General Assembly is the voice of the people. That's where we make sure we hear everyone. And that's also where all the business is reported back to the people to let them know, hey, you asked for, you wanted this, we did this. Or we're going to do this. Do you still want it? You know, like just right before we do it, we just want to make sure this is what you wanted us to do, right? So that's what that is. The Jural pillar, the Jural Assembly is our enforcement. Because General Assembly says, I want no more pollution of our skies. I don't want, these satellites. I don't want all this invasion. So lock down our airspace, for example, right? And then the General Assembly says it. The Jural Assembly says, okay, the people want us to lock down the space, you know, we're how can we work that out or whatever. Or it goes straight to international business pillar, which is they're the ones giving the marching orders to the employees. So the IBA actually is where the voice of the people is going out to the subcontractors. It is giving instruction. It is saying, this is what we need. This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to do it. That sort of thing. And the militia is the first responder in emergencies. Okay. And they are connecting and bridging with peacekeeping task force, with, because we aren't really we don't war with people. We're people at peace. We're not trying to attack anyone. So the only thing we have is defense systems and, emergency response for if there is a natural disaster, which there shouldn't be if there wasn't everyone interfering with nature. The only reason that there are natural disasters, as evidenced by all of the truth pouring out, is, hurricanes aren't real, tornadoes, all this stuff is happening because of man's interference with nature. So these are all man-made weather modification attacks on our land and soil. So is there a question, or do you guys get that part? Those are the four parts of the whole. This is our American government, our land and soil government. And so each nation does this on their own, in the sense of North Carolina has a voice as a nation, South Carolina has a voice as a nation, Virginia, like and this is, I'm using America as an example, but on Africa, each of your nation states have that same piece. I don't know. I'm not going to get too much into how Africa is going to work, because Anna says one of the things also, Dorothea, that you were asking about was like the international calls. The reason Anna's not putting a whole lot of attention on that is because she cannot give legal advice to other nations. She can't. You have to do your research and figure it out, okay? So you're not going to have meetings like what you're expecting for Africa that way at all, because she does not have the bandwidth to do all the historical research on every nation on Africa or every nation around the earth, okay? So let me just make that plain and clear. So she has to focus on what we're doing, and then she's happy to assist with, they're working on a global scale to, share the fraud, because it has become a one world government, this corporatocracy, but it isn't that cut and dry and that plain and simple. And all of the research has to be done on the other nations, and Africa is literally just waking up. So, you guys have a long way to come, and she isn't going to provide you with those answers because she can't. She can't do it. And so with that, I'm going to yield to you, Olivia.
Hi, this is Olivia Snow's husband, Aiden Snow. Thank you for having us.
Hi,
Um,
Aiden.
we are from Pennsylvania, and I just have a question to build on the four pillars. I just recently watched Anna's video regarding our banking system that's going to be coming out. Um, is there just going to be one bank, a central bank for all the assemblies, or what's the long-term goal? Because we're in the process of status correcting, we just have some questions regarding how is that all going to transpire and transform. The more and more people are coming to this realization.
100% right now, it is just the Global Family Banking Group. So it's Global Family Banking. You're owed an inheritance, okay, as a living man. And what's happened is, I mean, do you comprehend why you're doing the correction of status?
Yes.
Oh yes,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
on board with all the fraud. It's so much at once. Sorry, I'm chiming in here.
And especially as a veteran, I just learned there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know that I now know. I have a lot. My grandfather was in Vietnam War, and just learning a lot about that, it's just blowing my mind. Yeah.
I just want to make sure I got your name right. It's Aiden, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. I just fixed it because
Thank you.
because I do better. I just want to make sure I address you. First of all, I'm so happy that you are able to even receive the message because the brainwashing and the mind control, especially on all of our sons and daughters, was so much. I mean, it's military strength. It's not even regular institutional strength. And so I applaud you for having the open mind to be able to receive it. That speaks a lot about your high frequency. And so I'm really glad. Anna has been working to get through to the generals the great fraud about the
Yeah.
banking. And she's finally getting through to them because for a long time, we're all learning. Anna was learning too. She's been researching as well. Okay. So this isn't something that she just did on her own. It's not just like some cult of Anna's,
Right.
this is thousands and thousands of people. And like when she went to go see the Pope initially about the crimes against humanity, it was an entire group of 900. It wasn't like she just is so great and she just went over there and said, "Hey, Pope, what's up?" Nah, it wasn't like that. It was like an entire council of 900.
Wow.
And out of that council of 900, the Pope, when he was told of the great fraud, she said he physically was troubled. She didn't believe that he even knew because you're being in the military, Aiden, you can, I think, share with all of us and testify that, in fact, there is so much compartmentalization with the corporatocracy that no one who is operating in those realms even is aware, of what's going on. And so, as someone who made the choice to serve, depending on an assessment that they made of you, which they assess all of you, and you know it.
Yes.
They break you down, they see who can do what, they figure out who can handle this, that, the other. They have a psychological, evaluation of each of you, and then they put you in a box. Yes or no, true or false?
And it's true, and they know by like week 2, by the time you get into your schooling, whether you're going to be an NCO, whether you're going to be a leader, whether you're going to be a first sergeant or sergeant, they know within the first month.
Right. So if we want to be as effective and efficient as the military friends, you're hearing it here right now. Because this is what I work, just by the way, Aiden, I only work with former military.
Thank you.
with the farmers. So my actual work is with regenerative farmers. Like
Oh, beautiful.
I'm working to bring home military and put them to work on the land for like a number of reasons, but the top three reasons for me to choose to do that is one, you were lied to. You don't even know what you were involved in.
Yeah.
And you require time to heal. Okay.
Yeah.
And number two, the only way to give you a rapid education and get you there with that healing is to put you in touch with the magnetic force of the land and the soil.
Absolutely.
And so I think isolating you with livestock on the land and soil as a caretaker and as the person who is to provide dominion over the land and soil, giving life instead of taking life is the best, fastest way for you to remediate your mind and your, because most people are carrying guilt about things that none of us can even imagine because of the horrors that they put all of our sons and daughters through, which is criminal, treasonous, a violation on so many levels. It literally makes me sick. Okay. And I don't need to know anything. And I need you to know that you were born worthy beyond belief. You are so important. You have absolutely nothing to prove to anyone. And you matter. And the fact that they made you ever feel anything else is sickening.
Yes.
I think it's sickening. And all I wish is that I could put my arms around you and make you just know that you matter so much. You're so important. And what they've done to our sons and daughters is inexcusable.
Yeah.
Inexcusable.
That's beautiful, and thank you for sharing your heart. And
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
beautiful mission that you have, because we often talk about this, like with your active duty, like
Mm.
nobody knew, nobody knew what it was that they're being involved in. We're just grateful to have found this awareness and hopefully be a part of spreading it, obviously, because it's so, your mission is really beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Wow.
I don't even know if what we're doing can break you out of the brainwashing fast enough because the trigger words are so powerful.
Yeah.
But it's the only thing that we feel we know we can do.
Yeah.
And if there's something more, then we just don't know it yet. So, like, you can help us know that. Okay. And I know from the guys that I'm working with, you have a continuous um, pattern of being broken as you heal.
Yeah.
So it's not like you just get to do that and every day is just peaches and cream for you, because it's not.
Yeah.
And no one can know that unless they've actually had to experience the loss of someone. And my daughter was medically murdered after she was human tortured. And so I had to watch that and observe that and then take responsibility for allowing it, because she was 2 when she was diagnosed. She was 4 when she died. But during all of that time, I mean, I was making those decisions of allowing doctors to even have access to her. Why? What the hell was I doing? Right. So I feel like I don't know what you or anybody else's experience is. Okay. I can't possibly know anyone's experience but my own. But I know that until we went through that experience, I definitely would not be able to relate to even a fraction of anything that you might have been abused with, or even to acknowledge that abuse.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been. And then that makes me even more sad, how stupid and ridiculous that I wouldn't be able to do that. And that's a different crime too. So there's a whole world of people who right now aren't able, which is the majority, unfortunately, can't even um, have that level of compassion. And they're so lost in their own bullshit because they're just professional liars, as they've been trained to be.
Yeah. Yeah, every day, all the men and women that went in. I was in the infantry in the Marine Corps, and our brains were. I talked to a colonel for a while, and he said that we train you not to kill, but we massage the thought process every single minute and every single day. And for 6.5 years, I had to really. After that, it was a hard time to deconstruct all of that. And yes, you go in and into this corporation that knows how to train you really, really well. But when you get out, you don't really have the support to untrain that out of you. Yeah.
That's right. You need relief.
Yeah.
What you need is relief. All these people need relief. One of the things that we all need to really fully comprehend is that when our banks open and we bring people back home, meaning like correcting their status, okay?
Yeah.
When we help them do that, we need to leave them alone with their inheritance for a good year and a day, minimally, I think a decade, really, for them to be able to reconcile what in the hell just happened, you know? And some people will be able to come out of it a little bit faster. Some people won't, depending on what has happened with them in their life. But our military guys, I mean, y'all need just to be put back to work on the land and the soil, not as some sort of punishment or to abuse you further, okay? But because there is so much work to be done that needs to be corrected that you guys have A, the training and talent for, and B, you can do it quietly in the silence, in connection with our source creator and the land and soil.
Absolutely.
That is so beautiful. Yeah.
I yield. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and welcome home. And, you know, if you have questions about paperwork and how to completely disconnect yourself from, you know, look, Anna has written so many things, but there is a lot coming down the pike. It's going to be a lot faster for you because she's currently, I mean, right now, what I was saying was that um, sorry, she did not originally know that we should be focused on the Army, which is the land jurisdiction. She was thinking that she was supposed to be trying to get with the JAG because she felt like they're already trained in civilian law and various types of law because that's their work when they go around the world. And they should have been able to manage it, but that's water jurisdiction. It's admiralty law first. Like they are operating under admiralty, which you would know, I hope you know. It means that you are on a ship. And that admiralty law should not be found on the land and soil, in which case, why is our army allowing it? And so that's what she was pointing out to the generals, how it's been convoluted. Like, why are our flags with fringe at all our ports allowed by our own sons and daughters? Don't y'all know that that means it's been pirated? Immediately, you should know that that flag was pirated because it's got fringe around it, which means our ship was pirated. In which case, what freaking ship is on the land and the soil?
May
And
I?
oh, sure, yeah, Michael.
How's everyone doing today? Hey, I real quick, I'm running out the door, but I'm listening to the whole thing, and this is amazing podcast. I do have a friend. We're talking about the military, and I see him on here today, and he just got declared and came home. His name's Adam Redfield. Adam, welcome. I yield.
Welcome, Adam. Where's Adam? I don't see Adam.
Adam, Adam is Marines.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Welcome, Adam.
Thank
Listen,
you.
we need all of you guys. We need all of you. I've been calling all men for a long time. I've been calling all men. Men are the enforcement. You want to talk about the four pillars, okay? Women are the researchers. We're going to be the ones that are going to be helping. You can look at us basically as Jural and IBA, and then we got all the men on the militia and on all the other aspects of this, because we need the enforcement from you. And so, I mean, listen, I'm not saying men aren't supposed to be part of the jury and all of that. Obviously, you are, I'm just saying that a lot of the research, a lot of those parts and pieces, you know, women are the ones who have the patience to do all of that and then try to teach it. But that doesn't mean that men can't do it, obviously. Um, and I think that we really have to come together, and bringing all the military back. I mean, y'all are our sons and daughters. Hello. Hello. Do you not realize how important and valuable we think you are? How much you mean to us?
Yeah.
You're our progeny. You were born worthy beyond belief. You matter so much. You are so important.
Thank you.
You're so important. We need all of you. We need you to get through to your brothers.
Oh, that's a I'm finding that's a struggle. I've in my time of doing this, even my closest brothers, they're just kind of everybody's so standoffish. We're it's not just military, it's everybody. We're every day there's another scam, there's a scheme, there's something. So even the ones that they're like, well, we're just gonna kind of watch you and we're gonna figure out where we go from there. And the saddest part is, when global opens up, I think that's the that's going to be the biggest part right there. Um, it's not that I ever have any love loss or anything like that, but I mean that's just reality. People don't want to change their existence in life, what they've put into everything, and make a chance on something that seems like every day there's another scam. And but myself, I feel that this was godly to me. When we look at prayer, when we look at that, I just felt it. I just knew it. I knew this was right.
Listen, it's not unfortunate about the money, okay, Adam? It's not. You want to know why?
But
Because men are the enforcers and the providers, right?
correct.
Women call the men, and all you guys want is for us to tell you what we want. We tell you what we want, and then you just give it to us, right?
Correct.
That's how it works. And I haven't gone to the men, meaning like all the farmers that I work with. I mean, I've told them a little bit about what's going on in bits and bots, but I'm not pressing it on them until I can show them the money. Because guess what? Between now and then, you guys have to still provide for your families. You still have to do whatever is necessary to make that happen. And you don't have the energy or the bandwidth to invest in some airy fairy dream unless you have the frequency to be able to handle both of those things. And there's very few men that can handle it. And just like our farmers were abused, you guys were too. Like obviously our sons and daughters, all the military has been literally raped and tortured and treated like complete shit. It's inexcusable. Okay? But they did the same thing to the farmers. Anyone who has land has been held with a boot on their head and chains on their neck, all right? millions of dollars and millions of dollars worth of debt to the frickin' bankers. And they're the ones who are doing all this to everybody. So I'm not going to the guys and saying anything until I can show them the money. And then, damn it, if I'm not going to show them the money and be like, look, I need you to focus.
Agree.
And then I'm going to make it harder on them because they can handle it, especially if I'm giving them the pot of gold with it, right? I don't think that the guys are going to have as much time to reprieve because we're going to need their help faster. So with that, I'm going to yield to Derek because I think Derek's going to contribute something towards this, if that's okay with you, Adam.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll yield to Derek and then to Thomas. I yield.
Hello, everybody. Just wanted to add to what Neethi was saying about, the men and the women and, our innate abilities and direction to help each other. And, the women are our piece. We need something to provide, or else we really don't have a direction as man, or as men. I live my life not knowing where to go unless my wife gives me I want this, I want that, but it's something we need, so I need to go out and get it. It gives me my tasks. Just the same as this, movement and the assembly of the people. We need to really look at what our people need and treat it just like that. I go out, I get what we need, I provide, I protect, and that gives me a lot of my purpose in life. Knowing that I'm following our creator, and just to be able to provide it's immeasurable what men can do when we have purpose and we know our purpose and we just don't stop. And I just want to let everybody know, if you have any shadows of doubts of anything, just look within. Make sure your connection is strong with your creator and he will guide you. I've been guided quite a bit since my single digits. I've had my relationship with him. Him lack for a short of what our creator actually is, but I just know that we can all work together when we consider each other, and the discernment follows from there. There is no reason to fear the enemy. For our genuinity and our passion and everything that we know and can discern, it pushes the enemy right out. It exposes their intentions. There's nothing to worry about. If anyone's worried about the enemy, just dig deep down. Make sure your connection is strong, because it's pretty easy to figure out from there that you just keep your toes pointed forward, and those who are their toes are pointed to the left and to the right with their people against them, it exposes them. It either exposes the enemy or it exposes how scared they may be, and we need to be there for them. Whether they, let all evil go and finally see what's up, or whether the enemy is going to be persistent and patterns show. Men are very pattern recognized, to see the flaws, to see the differences, to be able to notice that we just need to keep going forward, because the enemy will be lost. The enemy will crumble. The enemy will fall behind. And we won't have to worry about those distractions as long as we work together and keep it moving forward. And that's the biggest thing. Even your enemy, I treat my enemies fairly, because there's no judgment that I can give that our creator can give them. So I just want to empower everybody, every man, every woman, to say, know your lane and know it strong, because it is going to help everybody. It's going to help you. And with that, I yield, because my battery is about to die. Y'all have a great evening and a great day.
Thank you, Derek. Go ahead, Thomas.
In Roman civil law, and you point out the fraud, that's a thing, okay? What is also a thing is when the energies collaborate together as we're doing here, and we bring our wishes forward. not concerned what they're doing. You have to make space from that. We have to just be focused on what we're doing and bringing forward and put energy to it and action. And the universe will conspire on your behalf to bring that forward. Takes a little time, like a 2-week turnaround. However, if we all just get on this, it's not a democracy. The universe doesn't care if it's one or a million. It doesn't matter. You just have to be resonating, and it starts. This is an organic growth. So be patient with yourself, and just really stand back and look at the world, and you can see it's changing right before our eyes. We pointed out the fraud, and under Roman civil law, once you point out the fraud vitiates everything. You go back to root origins, and we took it back to the first Constitution. That was ratified of 1787. Yeah, there's a lot of little quirks and tweaks along the way, but we have our true standing. And once the credits come forward, yeah, it's a different perspective at that point, much easier perspective for us. And with that, I yield. Thank you so much for all you all, and we're right there with it. Peace.
Go ahead, Dorothea.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how this is actually a place where our people is coming to unite, to share. Some comes here to heal, to get uplifted, to connect. This is a powerful room here, and I'm just happy that people can feel they have a place to go to. Even though you got hurt or you got harmed in ways, you found it a safe home in another way, connected with family right across our globe. I don't want to say globe, world, rather world. Right
I mean,
across our world.
the globe is right, and the world is apparently Disney.
Okay.
I don't know,
But yeah, I'm just happy everybody found it a place where they can come home to in this way. And I think this is going to grow more and more, but it will be with people that has a heart, people that really wants to, and that's going to guide one another to actually use it in their own parts of. This is amazing. There's a question I'd like to ask Annie, if it's okay. Yeah, Annie, I would love to ask you a question. You shared your testimony about something that happened when you landed up being in prison and so on, right? Where you nearly got locked up, you got yourself out of it and of this now. I found it an amazing document, and I would love to share it even with Niti and with you. A document that states for sovereign people like us, souls, that there is a law in natural law and common law that they are not allowed to just wrongfully put imprisonment upon you. Yeah, I will definitely share it. Niti, I'll share it with you too. I have yours. I will share it with you, Annie. If Niti has your email, then maybe Niti can just pass it on. I want to really share that info with you according to the laws and acts and statutes. But this one is specifically for that it's against that to actually wrongfully accuse or to put you in prison. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll definitely give it to you guys.
I dropped
read
my
it
email
this week.
in the chat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I wanted to ask you, but you were the person that actually went through that, right? So then you fought your way out of it by the grace. You got out of it by having knowledge of it. But now this may be something that can help more for the people when they do end up in situations, because with this, there's a standing now like, hey, you're not allowed to do this. So I would definitely want to share that with you and with you, Niti.
Love that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, part of what I told the judge was that he was in fraud. He was committing treason. I'm a federally protected person, and that he is breaking his oath and his constitutional oaths. And there are laws, and I think we do have some of them, but it's they were going against the Geneva Convention, the Lieber Code, the Hague, and they were doing constructive conspiracy to commit racketeering, fraud, press ganging, all that kind of stuff. And he was like, he's like, you can't say those things. I'm like, yes, I can. He's like, you can't do
But
that. And I said, well, it's all contracts and negotiation. I don't consent. And
yeah.
and what I want you to do is I want you to release me right now. Well, how do I know you'll come back? And I said, I'm not the liar here. I'm not the one committing fraud. My word is my bond. You're the liar. You're the one committing treason. I said, I'll tell you what,
True.
I'll make a special appearance just for you. My case disappeared so fast, we couldn't even find it. It was just gone.
Wow.
And the next one we held our court. They grabbed one of our ASNs and I got on the phone with her on the jail. And we just read all the things that we're going to turn them in for. We read through our fee schedule
Wow.
and we told them they were committing fraud, they were fraud, they were committing going against the Geneva Convention, and that we're going to turn them into the IRS, into their own military tribunals, and that they were committing treason. And they, those guys hang people, man. We're in peace, but hey, we're going to report your crimes. And they
And
spit her
she
out
was
so
on there, and she
fast.
was on the record, because it was a prison phone call.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is their record, which is the court of record, which is
Yep.
actually holding court. So Annie was holding
We
court
did.
on
We
the
held
phone.
court. We even read the Bivens decision, and we read through
That
the
is so
approval and
powerful.
everything. Yeah.
I actually, when you spoke about it, I took notes on that. I'm like, wow, this I need to just put it down. If this happens here, I will remember that. It's like just
Oh, yeah.
use their phone as evidence in that way. That's very
Yeah.
powerful.
It's not even
But yeah,
evidence. It's better than evidence. It is
Has
court.
to.
You are holding court.
Yep.
It is on
that's
the record
powerful.
because the
100%.
court of
Wow,
record is superior jurisdiction.
Yep.
true.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
So
that
now,
was smart. That
yeah,
was
so
really
now one
smart.
of the cool things that we're doing, Niti was telling me about, doing the public notices to all the sheriffs and to the
Mhm.
Secretary of State and all that. And when we bring forward and we say, okay, look, you guys are in fraud, we already know this, and we're not going to now we're going to hold our common law courts and we're holding you accountable. And so by getting our
Sure.
4 pillars up and getting our Jural Assembly up and getting bringing forward our records from 1860 and reestablishing that continuity of record and bringing it forward, that's part of why we want to build our pillars. It's also part of the reason why these yahoos want to keep tearing it down. So we just build them no matter what. And then we get all of our little documents together and put them forward. And that's what we're doing right now. We're going to get back property and we're going to get back, make sure that they stop harassing us. So we're sending this stuff to the Secretary of State and holding him accountable because he's supposed to let all the agents know. Plus, we're letting them know through our notices and that we're holding court and that we are it now. This is it. We're doing it. And we're doing this without funding or anything else because people are coming together and they're unifying. And that is the most powerful and terrifying thing that you can do is just self-govern, move forward, come together and just do it.
Yeah.
Family style and everything else.
The family style piece and keeping it simple is vital.
Big.
It does not have to be corporate minded at all. It does not have to be that massive structure. It does not have to be all those things. And that was what Anna was trying to say. So, Dorothea, that's the big deal. We don't care about all the paperwork because we stand under the Declaration of Independence. That kinetic war is what gives us our standing. We don't need a bunch of pieces of paper, but we have to have knowledge of the truth and know who we are. Annie was able to get herself out, not because of some paper, but she was able to get out because she knew who she was. You don't get out because you read a piece of paper or you give them a piece of paper. If you go there and try to give them paper, they won't look at it. They won't.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm telling you, they won't. And they will say,
Yeah.
"What is that? What is that?" And then you're supposed to be able to speak. If you can't speak proficiently about who you are and what your power is, then you are going to just be following whatever they tell you to do, especially if they say take off your shoes and you take off your shoes. Right, Annie? Annie's like, I know, I gave my shoes up, girl.
I was like, oh, I
Crap.
keep my jacket and my shoes and my hat back. I'm cold.
She was like, shoot, Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to go on now to Michelle, and then we're going to go to Olivia and Aiden. And Michelle, we yield the floor to you. Or is this still the same topic? Or are we changing topics?
No, there's been so many topics tonight that you've discussed. I wanted to ask you to go back to your words, what you said with Anna about our inheritance. With all the what was stolen from us, our birthright. Do you know the SQB Trust Fund? Okay. Now, my question is Anna working with the SQB Trust Fund that's paying out the interest on these AFDs, or is that the Saint Germain and the Avita Trust?
Okay. There are so many trusts, Michelle.
100%.
There's a bunch of trusts.
7,300, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to try to claim to know that right here, right now. I will tell you that our AFDs are backed by gold in a bank that has been third-party audited, in a vault, not a bank, whatever, a vault. And they've been audited third-party, as evidenced by the press release that was released by the Saint Germain Trust and NBC and a whole bunch of other people. Okay.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's gold.
Yeah.
It is like physical, substantial asset.
So
That's
how are we
backing it.
getting how are we getting to claim the SQB Trust Fund?
I think that you're stuck on a trust fund, and I need you to stop it. There is a credit that's owed to us. There are assets that are owed to us. There is currency that Anna is, like they're minting the silver dollar. Okay. So we have silver, we have gold, we have assets like land, a lot of substantial stuff. And that's all different all around the world. Okay. Because every nation has different assets. So like you
100%.
guys, you by the way have been sending me all the stuff, a lot of your research, okay? And I just haven't responded to you because I'm not allowed to talk to you about anything legal or provide you with any kind of like legal advice or whatever. I'm just letting you know that, number one. Number two, you're talking about this man who is one of the trustees for the bank. So global family bank structure includes a lot of trustees. All right. I don't know. I'm not privy to all of the details of it myself. So I'm not going to break it down for you here or anywhere.
No.
Okay.
No.
But I'm letting you know that some of the people that you're talking about in that chat to me, they are trustees. And they're operating in contract with the bank, and they have to operate on multiple jurisdictions. And that's why they're not going to be just on an assembly somewhere. If they're working in multiple jurisdictions on behalf of the bank and working with our fiduciary, then they hold a different position as far as the service that they're providing to all the living men. Anna is working in multiple jurisdictions all the time because she has to. All of us are living and operating in multiple jurisdictions all the time. I need you guys to go back and be really cognizant and study jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is the key to most of this stuff, and 99% of the people have no concept of it, and you're accusing people of crimes when they're not committing any crime. They're operating in multiple jurisdictions. And they have to. It is a job that they have taken on for the people in service. Okay? So there's still a lot more study that's involved and much of what you're saying to me on that channel, okay? I need you to know that, and I haven't had the energy to respond to you in my little phone because I can't even type in it like that, okay? So I just want you to know that. And also, I have so much else going on. I haven't had energy to respond to you, but also lastly, because the things that you're talking about are so complex, I'm not going to try to type it to you. Does that make sense what I'm saying? It's something that's bigger that needs to be addressed in a different way. And some of it I need you to just hang on or get your own research or find someone to talk to about it. But most people, right, the things that the bank's doing is bigger than all of us. It's bigger than all of us. And you have to just know that. All right. And they're going against
Yeah.
evil. They're going up against the most evil people. The central bankers are the most evil people.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to try to iron that out for you on a Telegram channel. Okay.
No, 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 100%. I was just sending it through
I know.
to
I'm letting
just
you
holding
know
it.
here because
Okay.
I can't even say anything over there. Like it's too much.
Not a problem. We can't really discuss it here either.
Yeah,
Not a
you
problem.
see what I'm saying, right? Like
Yeah, no, no, no.
I
100%.
didn't want you to think like I just ignore you or something, but like this
Not at
it's too
all.
big.
Not at all.
All
I'm
right.
just putting it there so when it's asked for, it's there and it's available.
I
All
got
right.
you. I
I
got you.
fully understand. Okay. But why I was asking about the CSQ, that's our birthright. That's our where all the fraud started with the birth certificate fraud was the CSQB.
I mean, I
Okay.
think that the fraud started before that because the fraud's been going on for a long time. Slavery has been happening for years before all of that.
Yeah, but what I mean is, sorry, every person's birth was the birth certificate fraud. It's gone back many, many, many years, but it boils down to this tremendous, what they call it, the greatest transfer of wealth in human history.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that this CSQV trust, which is basically what the whole world revolves around, okay? Every 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 bills of exchange, every promissory note, from the time you take up you're born till the time you take out a loan, even when you go to court,
Mm-hmm.
everything comes out of that CSQB trust fund.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, with this whole emancipation story, how do we or are we ever going to get what is fully our inheritance, which is that CSQB trust?
I mean, Anna told you that you're rich beyond belief.
Oh, yes, we know. We
She
know that,
said you're
yes.
wealthy beyond belief. She said you aren't going to be able to you won't be a debtor ever. We won't
Yeah,
be
no.
we won't be debtors for generations. You know, I think that listening to what Anna has to say about money might be something for you to think about because she thinks money's dumb.
No, it is done, but it's something. Let's put it this way: I've looked on the Fidelity Exchange, and I've seen what each and every one of us are worth. Okay, you can actually pick it up on the Fidelity Exchange by
Mm-hmm.
putting in your birth name, not your birth name, your birth number, and
Right.
it's frightening that an average 60-year-old is worth more than $1 billion,
Okay, let me just say this because I kind of
and it's
I
crazy.
want to get to everybody here, okay, Michelle, and I'm not
Okay,
trying to cut you short, but listen to what I'm saying.
yeah.
What is your point about this
No,
exactly?
I was okay. I was trying to find out where how I thought that the CSQB Trust Fund was taken care of by Anna through all this emancipation, through all this transfer of wealth. I
There's
was
so
wanting
many
to know.
trust funds that she's dealing with. It's not one. It's all of she's not going to let any of it go, girl. She's not letting any of it go because
Okay,
she's not going to let any of it go. You're talking about one trust fund. She's talking about all our assets,
yeah.
everything.
I think because each person has their own. That's what I'm saying. But it's all right. I'm with you.
We know everybody. Listen, the only value is your intrinsic value. You are the intrinsic value. There is nothing without us. Without the living man, there
Hundreds.
is nothing. I mean, if we decided tomorrow to just stop playing this stupid game, like she says, then we could be throwing gold into the street. It wouldn't matter because at the end of the day, The blood money is the blood money, okay? And our energy exchange with each other is all that matters. And what are y'all going to do when everybody has all their access to all their stuff? Because at that point, you can't pay anybody to do anything for you. Do you get it that when everybody has everything, you're not going to be able to pay them to do anything for you? And when you have an entire world of people who don't know how to chop an onion, or who don't know how to clean a toilet, or who don't know how to just do like basic things,
Basic. Hmm.
okay, what is going to happen? Because most of these people, if McDonald's was to stop working tomorrow, they won't know what to do. They won't know how to eat. Isn't that dumb? And I'm
Dumber than
telling
dumb.
you, the thing that you want to know what bothers Anna is not whether you got access to your SQV fund or whatever. She is like, okay, if I open the bank, is everybody going to starve? Because everybody will have everything that they need. So then who is going to open the grocery store? Who? Who's going to farm? Who's going to make? Because I'm going to tell you what's not going to be happening is Doritos, Fritos.
What?
Okay, Dunkin' Donuts, Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Yeah.
McDonald's, and all this other crap. When everybody is left to only being able to eat real meat and
Hmm.
real, fruits and vegetables,
Hmm.
99% of the earth is going to want to starve because they're addicted to chemical food like substances. They don't
Fast
eat
food.
real food. They don't eat real food. And I'm going to tell you what else. They're going to die because that chemical food is addictive, like not strawberries. Okay. Like, for example, I used to love strawberries, but I would not kill you for strawberries. Okay. Like the strawberries would come and they would go and they were only available for a month. Okay. At least
Hmm.
in my circadian rhythm, I could only get strawberries for like a month. Okay. And then they're done. I'm sad. I cry. I'm like, man, I really love the strawberries, but they're gone. They're over. I'm not going to go kill somebody because, oh my God, I don't have the strawberries. But the people who are addicted to the bang drinks or to all this crap, I don't even know what all the fake food is. Like, I don't know the names of it. The last time I ate something out of a grocery store, the worst thing that was there was probably Twinkies and Ho Ho's or something. It's been a lot of years since I ate out of a grocery store. So I don't even know what's there. I don't. I have no idea. I mean, if my farmers aren't growing it around me, I don't even know what it is. Okay. But like I heard that there's something called a zebra cake. I don't know what that is. I mean, I don't have any idea what that is. And I know that there's like people putting everything in a can. I don't know what it is. Like these aluminum cans are toxic just because it's aluminum. Aluminum is a
Hmm.
neurotoxin, okay, just for the record. And so they're putting it in an aluminum can and everybody's popping them open and drinking this crap. Whatever is in it doesn't even matter. It's poison, okay?
Is that aluminium? Is that the same thing?
As
In
aluminum foil that people wrap
Yeah,
around their food and cook, and yeah, it becomes a
aluminium. Okay.
neurotoxin. And then
Okay.
everybody
Okay.
wonders why they have dementia and Alzheimer's. Okay, this is why. So I can get lost in this whole thing with you, but what I'm trying to say, what's everybody gonna do when tomorrow the money is available everywhere? Who's gonna do what?
Well, I don't personally think the money's going to be available to everybody at the same time. I think it's going to
Okay,
be
but
the
what I'm trying to say to
pioneers.
you is I don't
Hmm.
think it's going to take that long. But besides that, those of us who have access to it sooner than the other people will take care of everybody, I would hope. That's number one.
Exactly.
And if they
Yeah.
don't, like, who are you? I don't understand who you are. But even with that, okay, even with all of that, what I'm saying is it's going to be hard. You're going to have to get to the point where you are working with people and people are working with you out of the goodness of their heart.
Hmm.
Anna's been trying to get everybody to do that now. And people can't even get together on a call and get through an assembly meeting without not doing that. Do you see?
No, no, big time, big time.
Okay. So all
Amen.
of these de facto people that are trying to control us are trying to come in and steal the money. And That's who they're warring against. So let's move on from this topic, if you don't mind,
Okay.
Michelle.
No problem. I just wanted to end with, there is a little manual, a hand manual that I have found that is absolutely wonderful. It's called the 90-day preparation to
Okay.
prepare your mind, your body, and your soul for this enormous amount of wealth that is coming our way. And it's mind-boggling. They say for 90 days, we shouldn't spend 1 cent. We should take 90 days to reflect, to grasp, and to understand what it actually means, because mankind doesn't know this. It's not what we are used to. So if you would like, I will share it with you. It's fantastic. It's a little manual, little handbook, but
You can just put
wonderful.
it in the chat, and
Okay.
everybody can look at it. It's fine.
All right, will do.
Thank
It's
you,
been really
Michelle.
good. Okay, Nikki, thank you. I yield.
Thank you. All right, Olivia and Aiden, you're up next.
I have a two-part question. One about Andy's story, because we have seen some people on social media who have been successful with a status correction, and they are kind of targeted in a way at first. No, okay.
They're not really. I mean,
Okay.
I'll say this, Aiden. On social media, which is lies and bullshit. Okay.
Okay.
They want everyone to be terrified of taking back your power, because obviously they don't want you to take back your power. Okay.
Of course.
So they're going to make it confusing, and they're going to create chaos and confusion. And so, there are as many TikTok videos empowering it and that many TikTok
Yes.
videos against it. This is the information age. And this is where it is very important for everyone to stop lying to themselves and to use your own discernment. And this is where it becomes weird, because you can't talk to other people about it so much, because at the end of the day, I think that it's probably easier to liken it to something like this. When I'm assuming you guys are married or whatever,
Yes.
you're a
Yes.
couple. Okay. So my husband and I, and like as a couple, we all have a standard. It's a standard that me and him have for us and our family. I don't negotiate that or discuss it with my friends or, whatever. We don't like we have friends who have different standards than us. That doesn't mean they're not our friends. They have different standards because they do what is important for them. It's their priorities, you can call them, right?
Yeah.
So everybody has their priorities, their standard of living, their standards, period, whatever it is that they want. Maybe it comes from their religion, which is also, by the way, incorporated and not real,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
man-made lies and bullshit.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, okay, whatever. They have these beliefs. What are beliefs? Thoughts you keep thinking. So you could just change your beliefs by changing your mind, right? But people don't know that, because they're like, well, that's my belief. Okay, well, you could change your belief. But you're not thinking that you can do that, right? Because someone told you can't change your belief, which that's crazy. But that is the way quantum leaps work, okay, Aiden?
Okay.
So you guys have a standard. You set it for yourself, and you can only walk on that. So in the same way, you can't watch Facebook, TikTok, or whatever and go, oh my God, because I would be more encouraging you to say, is this trying to fearmonger me? Or is this factual? If it's factual, where's the facts? Where's the law? Because, I'll use my 21-year-old as an example. Okay, because he's so smart and knows everything. Because if you've ever known it, yeah, if you've known a 21-year-old, then you know that they know everything.
Yeah.
So my 21-year-old told us that we were in a cult and that we have imposed this upon him. And to which I introduced him to a palette of law books. And I was like, look, brother, let me tell you what I'm doing. I'll follow Anna. Okay. I have books like this one.
Oh, beautiful. Got Roman law.
Okay. The Elements of Roman Law. I also have, I mean, I can't even pick up all these books. There's a bazillion of them. And they're on my dining room table right now because the 21-year-old thinks we're in a cult. So I'm like, okay, until you read all these books, just shut up.
Yeah.
You know, and their dad told him, he's like, because daddy didn't believe mom when mom said our son thinks we're in a cult. He's like, no. I'm like, yeah. And he's just like, that's crazy. We sat both of the kids down and we were like, okay, look. And then I said, tell daddy what you think. And he was like, well, and he made his case. And he explained and we listened. And his daddy was just like, oh God. And he, you know how guys are. Y'all are just like, oh God. Yeah, I don't have no words. They're just dead silent. And then they're looking at him with the silent stare of God, because men don't have words for these things. I think most guys would probably box them out or something. I don't really know. But so I was just like, I tried to explain to our son that I'm operating in ancient law. I'm studying ancient law. This is about law. Anna didn't try to convince me of anything. When I heard what Anna was saying, then I had to study it. I had to practice it. I've been running my business for more than 20 years, Aiden. I have had to stand up against the USDA, the FDA, the NCDA, the CDC,
Wow.
and they've all said that they have decided that I am a self-proclaimed governing body. And when they sent to me in writing that I was a self-proclaimed governing body, I didn't know what in the hell that meant because I didn't know Anna. I didn't know about these ancient laws.
Oh, wow.
So it was before I had that information, but it was just my instinct to be like, I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth. If you don't put it in writing for me, I just don't even know what you're talking about because I'm just dumb, you know? Like if you're saying something and it sounds like then I just don't know what you mean. And so you're gonna have to put it in writing so I can go study it, figure out what in the world you're even saying, you know, and guess what? Criminals don't put things in writing.
Yeah.
And so the USDA and the FDA and the NCDA and the CDC, all the demands they were making on my business, the regulatory bullshit that they wanted me to comply with, they couldn't put it in writing? What in the hell?
Wow.
As a military guy,
Yeah.
y'all walk on the law and the order, supposedly.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, for you and our other new friend here, the Marine, I think it's Adam that I lost him on the screen somewhere. But anyway, Adam, when you're talking to people, and especially former military guys, then I think you guys are really good. Y'all are like the guys that I trained with, like that I did my TAC training with. Y'all are just very simple, easy. It's not like an emotional drama or anything like that. To just say, hey, brother, if the USDA, who by the way has a SWAT team, what in the hell for? Okay. Or the FDA or the NCDA want to come after little old me, I'm just a mom selling raw milk, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs to
Wow.
other moms, and they were coming after me for selling raw milk, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. The CDC wanted to shut my dairy farmers down, saying that I am poisoning people or putting them in harm's way, that they might die. When in fact, I am reversing autism, cancer, MS, ADHD, and all the other bullshit that they're talking about. And they have zero evidence to the effect that it's not doing that. I have never worked with any family that hasn't only gotten better and not gotten worse.
Okay.
And nobody has ever complained. So here were my questions for these people. Who complained to you about me? No one. They can't produce anyone. Okay, well then why the hell are you on my front door? And I used to walk them, Aiden, down to the street because I got to get them off of my jurisdiction, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, could you please back up off my porch? This was back when my babies were itty bitty. They were in diapers. They had their noses pressed to the glass while mom is at the bottom of the driveway at the street with these lunatics who are telling me that I better let them come inspect my freezers. And I'm like, no. Why? What are you talking about? And they're like, well, we heard that you are selling milk and da 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 da. I'm like, okay, great. What do you want? Well, you have to let us do it. No, I don't. I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth. As former military, I think you and Adam would comprehend fully that if I don't understand you, then you can't stand over me. And so you're outside your jurisdiction, and you know that immediately when I say that. At which moment you're going to shut up and be like, okay, because I did not contract. I do not consent. And guess what? I must consent, and you know that, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely no. Thank you. And I have just another logistical question. I don't want to take up too much time, or if you can point me in a direction where I can find the information. So we're in the process of doing this with someone within our state assembly here in Pennsylvania, and a wonderful gal. My question is, we have a trip planned, an international trip planned in March. And I've watched a lot of videos, and I understand that I'm giving up the U.S. citizenship when I am correcting my political status or status correction, and then I would be able to get a new passport. And my understanding is that when I receive a new passport as a living being and a human being instead of a person or persons, I will be signing differently. I'm just trying to understand, is that true, or has anyone, what your experience has been, or can you give some guidance or some
Well, first of all, you are not a human being because that is the hue of man, and you're not a human. Okay.
Okay.
You are a living man. So let's just start right there. And the next thing is that you are also declaring at this moment of massive shift. It's a massive change. I don't know what's going to happen between now and March, because it might be between now and March, the banks are open. I don't know how it's going to affect everything. I mean, do you see how much the Federation is having to consider, the implications of just opening the bank? It's not about just making it, offering relief for everybody. But when you have an entire world of people who don't know the truth, right? And then everybody's like, well, I'm going to wait and, when I see it on TV, I'll know it's real. Okay, well, the TV is theatrical performances by the people who are bought and paid for, and it's brainwashing, mind control. It's literally just a device to notice you. So our passports, just for the record, are American passports. There's a difference between American and U.S., but they are impersonating us. And so they have tricked you, because even as former military, you don't realize what America is versus the U.S. corporation, right? So I don't know if you're going to even need that passport in January or February or March or whatever. There's a lot of shift that's going to happen between now and then. I don't even know if you'll be able to get a passport if you started today, because I know for me in my area, all the post offices around me are down to 1 and 2 people only. I mean, their windows are supposed to be able to support 5 or 6 people, but they have 1 or 2 man stations now. And those are Pappas municipal stations who have their own jurisdiction. I think that you might be aware, or maybe you don't, but a post office, the 1 mile radius around a post office is a different jurisdiction. And they can do whatever they want in that jurisdiction. And you better not even try to question them. They answer to the Vatican. Did you know that?
No, I feel like the learning curve has been so intense. Like we're just unlearning so much and then trying to replace it with troops.
And I know
the
that
journey.
the Vatican owns the military, even the U.S.
Yeah, we learned that.
Yeah, the United States government doesn't even own its military. It's controlled by the Vatican, by the Roman Church. I didn't know about that. The same thing about the post office. That's wild.
Well, they are the ones who created the post office originally. And they own all the corporations as a side effect. The post office is a bank and a court. And it is also the owner of all the patents and all the airy-fairy things that you think up, including copyrights. Anything that's created, your imagination, all those things that are trademarked and whatever, the Vatican owns them. Isn't that fun?
Wow.
So I guess I'm understanding you saying that we may not need a passport to travel internationally, or will there be a passport within the assembly? You know, as the more and more people are waking up to this.
So we have credential cards
Okay.
right now. On America, they're not being recognized the same way at all. I know that they've been more successful like on Africa and some other nations, but here they're not really being recognized the same way. Anna couldn't use it to travel with. No, I think her purse got stolen. Her purse got stolen out of her car, which was on her land on Alaska, which was no coincidence. We know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that had to be some crazy operation. But anyway, yes. So I think that you guys can do the copper moonshine thing if you want to, just because you have a trip planned. I don't know if it's going to matter.
What does that mean? Sorry, so we're still so new. We're like babies in this. So does that mean, because our assembly had even said like, oh, you can just continue using your passport, but then we had read separately that if we do that, you're kind of like reinserting yourself into the jurisdiction that we're trying to remove ourselves from. So how does that? I just wasn't sure what to do.
Well, also all the assemblies have been captured, because if you can only imagine that everyone is against Anna freeing the slaves, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so as a side effect, the CIA basically has operatives everywhere. But guess what? They also have a birthright inheritance that they're owed. And we're going to free all living men, including all the spies and all the agents and all the whatever. Do you see what a big, bold, bad move Anna is making? Because she has to free all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't free some of the people and not all of the people. You have to free all living men, including anyone who is causing harm to themselves, most of which they are self-loathing, right?
Okay.
No, thank you so
Thank
much.
you
It's
so
just been
much.
so hard to like figure out, wait, how do basic things work once you release them? So I appreciate that. Okay.
Truly,
Yeah,
thank
and so you're used to a corporate, clean, easy, organized. It's so beautiful. So like, have you ever been to India?
No. Would love
Okay.
to.
Well, I don't know, like, I don't know who's been, I always ask the military guys, because you've been lots of places, but like, you might have been to some third world country somewhere where that it is chaotic on the ground. Okay, India is straight chaos, okay, when you land, but the heart of the people is at peace. Most of the people are at peace, okay? And so if you can only just imagine that, that's what this is.
Okay.
It is straight chaos because people are messy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you weren't trained and told how to fold your everything and put it wherever, you know what I'm saying? Like before you went into the service, you didn't do any of that. And so now you're just like, okay, and you're efficient. You got go bags, you got boot bags, everything's easy. And you're very organized. If anybody who's been through all of that and who is managing themselves that way, it's really hard to now just be like, oh, these people don't know what in the hell they're doing. So they must just not even be legit. But that's not true because real living men are messy.
Absolutely.
So just kind of know that and
Okay.
be aware of these other things. And so I'm not trying to scare you out of your assembly. I'm saying be aware, have your Shinola sensor on, keep an eye out for the truth, and you'll observe the truth. Like, I don't know the people on the the Pennsylvania Assembly. I don't know them. I'm sure everybody is very loving. I'm sure they're really nice. I'm sure, are they corporate minded? Do they know what they're doing? I don't know.
We're still trying to discern that ourselves, and that's the hardest part. Is like from the outside, we have such a limited view. So I was appreciative of someone mentioning the call that you hold because we had the concerns as well. We're like, obviously want to hold the intention and the energy that the people that are joining this cause. But it was interesting to hear that people, there's human beings are involved, so we recognize that there's going to be some mess for sure. But we can only hold ourselves to the standard that we expect, which is love and light, and bring that when we interact. And I believe that will overpower this with time. But it's true because we're babies at this. But I love your recommendation to continue to self-study because the quick substitute could be to tag somebody and ask for the answer. But I'm of the same mindset that it's so important to really dig in and figure this out and be able to articulate. Even with Annie's story, like that was incredible the way that she advocated for herself. And like you said, she couldn't just flip a paper. She had to really know what she's talking about. So that's where we feel we're like, whoo, we've got a steep hill to climb, but we're committed to it. But yeah, it just feels like a lot. So we appreciate all of your wisdom and insight. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, this is great because all this does is help to teach everyone else. I'm just super, like I said, it's really happy. My heart is so happy to see our former military guys coming in. Like that is the men who I've been calling. And so that's a big, big deal. I feel like I just won a prize today. So I thank you so much for that. And so do you guys yield and then we'll go on to Joanne?
Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Go ahead, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne in Ontario. I have a question, but I just want to make a quick little comment to what we were just talking about. So Annie did type in the chat that you still own your usufruct, so you can use it. And I do want to point out, if all of us on this call are reconveyed back to the land and soil, it's very unlikely that we are all operating the same. Our intentions matter and our individual scenarios are very different. So what is comfortable for Annie might not be comfortable for someone else. As long as we're in, and hats off to Annie, by the way. I would not be an Annie. I am not in that scenario, and I recognize my own limitations. And as long as we're operating and functioning in any degree in a coercive environment, we do what we need to do in the coercive environment to keep ourselves safe, protect our soul of that man and woman. It does not change our intentions in what we intend to do. It just changes how we're operating in that moment. So that is a difficult concept because we all like to have the boxes checked and go through the exact same process and feel like we're doing it right. And we've moved that from the to-do file to the completed file and it feels good. I just want to let you know, because I know you're new, it doesn't always work out that way. So if you're struggling and you're not feeling quite right about it or not good about it, it's possible that it's just not the right time for you. And in this now scenario, you need to continue in a fashion that gives you peace today and for the next week, but it does not change your intentions. I just wanted to share that. So my question is regarding recording secretaries. and their training. And specifically, I'm looking to gain some understanding insofar as, is there a scenario or a situation where documents from a recording secretary would not be acknowledged or not accepted? And the reason I'm asking that is, if a recording secretary was trained while she was a woman on an assembly that was captured and perhaps banned her or silenced her, so she has the training here, she understands, she has the knowledge, she recognizes how to operate that. She then takes herself and her training away from the assembly, and she still has the recording secretary training. So if she utilizes that and is helping others with the paperwork, I'm just wanting to understand, is there a scenario where what she is doing and helping is not acknowledged because her name has been put on, let's say, a blacklist, for example? That's my question. I yield.
Okay. So, I'm going to repeat what I think is the question to make sure that I'm answering the right question. Okay. You're saying somebody is a recording secretary or was an elected record, because you have to be elected onto your assembly as a recording secretary. So someone was elected in, and then they left that assembly, and then they're helping people. Is that the question? First, I want to just get that part right.
I'm just going to correct your wording. They have not left the assembly. They
Okay.
were removed and banned, not
Mhm.
of their choice and for no reason.
But
So
they
they
were
are,
elected in, right?
yes, correct.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. It's important that they're still part of the assembly, meaning they should have records on the assembly as a member. Now, when you say banned and removed, did they cancel your seals and give you your records back?
Well, I'll just be transparent. I'm speaking about those of us on Canada who
Right.
have been banned and removed. And as far as
But did
having
they
our,
return you your documents?
we did not submit paper documents on Canada.
What? Whoa. Whoa. Let me stop right there. Hold on. Hold everybody's horses. Are you saying there's no hard files on
So
with the assembly? What are you saying?
yeah, so I'll clarify that because that is also something that we're looking for clarity on. So our documents were uploaded in a digital format to a website that is under proprietary ownership, and that is the only location where they were uploaded. Were they printed and stored in a paper format? I'm unclear on if that would be a yes or a no. I believe it's a no. However, I can't fully validate that.
Okay. I'm going to say this. I can talk about what happened here on North Carolina, okay? So, on North Carolina, we were captured. We had problems. We stood up to that, and there was this huge whatever. We had 8 people stand up to volunteer as coordinator, and because of Hurricane Helene, the Federation wanted everybody to jump in and do everything that could be done, and we did. And then there was a huge um, contention to find out who was going to have lawful standing or not. Okay. When we were finally established with who was going to have lawful standing and who wasn't going to have lawful standing, who was going to move forward, and whatever was going to happen, the Federation made their decision to manage their coordination and, whatever. Then the new coordinator team was never recognized by people, even in the Federation working under Anna. Like, people actually had the nerve to say to Anna, no. Like Anna said, these people are out and these people are in, and whoever was managing it said no to Anna, if you can only imagine that. Okay. So, we were working to get our assets from the old group. And when we were working to get the assets from the old group, without a blink of an eye, we were told the assets were all destroyed in a flood. Never reported to anyone, just destroyed. So then we go to our fiduciary and we're like, hey, what just happened? And you know what we heard? Well, guess you got to start all over and get some records together, because without hard copies of documentation, this doesn't work. Like, that is how you get your standing. And everyone who wants to participate in their government has to voluntarily provide their records. And guess what else we learned? No land recording office is going to have a monopoly on Anna's assemblies. What does this mean? This means that, yes, there is a Federation land recording office. Yes, many people are declared and their paperwork was uploaded to that land recording office. But no, just because you recorded your paperwork does not mean that you volunteered to serve your government. And anyone who prints those documents off of there, builds files, and presumes upon you, and these are lawful terms, presume. Someone who presumes upon you that you are going to be of service to your government, that is unlawful and illegal, because they have absolutely no right to impose that service upon you. And so for us, it was like, great, we're starting at zero. So then we just went after all the people that we had contact with, and we had a roster from that LRO, and we asked who is interested in serving your government and who is not. We're not going to call you. We're not going to just print your stuff off. Like, never mind the labor and the expense of doing that, okay? Printing and all of who's paying for that? Not me. I'll say that. If you want to participate, you're going to volunteer your records to us. Otherwise, we don't know what you want to do. You could just want to go live on your homestead like a free man, and that's none of our business. If you're like Annie can take on anybody and do whatever in hell Annie wants, and nobody's going to stop her. They're not going to put her in a cage. She's out. You see her? So anybody can go do whatever they want to do, because guess what? You're alive. And there is no creation of our creator that can stand over any other creation. So I don't get to be your boss, Joanne. You're welcome. See? So I don't get to make decisions for Joanne. I don't get to just presume upon Joanne. I don't get to just print your records because I have access to a proprietary website that has your records on it. And you know what? The fact that they're published on that website is good. It's great. Everyone knows you're published. That's good. If you have a GFG account, then you published your records there too. Wonderful. You should be published everywhere. Everybody's like, oh, Niti just wants you to go to her Bucolic Living Law site and publish there. Guess what? No, I don't need extra work. If you don't want to bring your paperwork for me to have to archive and be in charge of for the rest of my life, then I don't need you to do that. But we're offering it out of the goodness of our hearts to those people who need a place to publish. So either do it or don't. I don't care. I definitely don't care. Like, go anywhere and publish, because my intention is to work to free all living men from bondage. even the deranged ones, even the paid opposition, even the CIA spies. I don't care, because if I allow anyone to be held in bondage, I allow everyone to be held in bondage. That's dumb. I'm not going to do that to my babies, and I'm not going to do that to yours either. Even if they might deserve to get a pop on the head. That, it's not for me to decide. Guess who's enforcing that? You want to know who's enforcing it? It's the universe. Our creator, universe, is doing that. Not any of us. None of us have the authority to do that. So.
Okay, may I?
Yes.
So what I'm taking away here is, in order to be participating on your assembly, you must have voluntarily submitted paper records to be recorded and kept in the location where the assembly records are being kept. Is that right? Okay, that has not been happening on Canada at all. So thank you for identifying what was probably an assumed step in the process for many others on here. But if your source of information has not shared that, I was unaware that I did not know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, we cannot impose on anyone the 928s. Anna says, stop it. That's not a mandatory requirement. They just have to do the 528. But we should educate them as to the benefit of the 928, which is what we do on North Carolina. But liars, there's so many of them, went to Anna and said, oh, Neethi Bali is mandatorily requiring all North Carolinians to submit 928 packages, 4 copies, or else they can't be part of the assembly. This is a complete lie. Number one, I don't have the authority to boss everybody around. Let's just start right there. And number two, if I was encouraging people to do a 928, because I was explaining to them why it is beneficial, and they misconstrued that as a requirement to provide that, then that's really their own confusion, and it wasn't a requirement. Because I'm the one who is on North Carolina saying, hey, everybody, just get your 528s in, open your GFG account, and that's all that matters this red hot minute. Because when the shit hits the fan, everybody should be able to have a GFG account, and that's it. That is all. If anybody wants to do more than that, these guys want a passport. Other people want to run their businesses. There are people who have their progeny. If you're going to declare your progeny with a baby deed, why wouldn't you have a freaking baby deed for your babies? If you brought a baby onto this planet, you need a baby deed. Somebody was telling them, well, you don't do that for your adult babies. What? If they came out of my body, then I am claiming them. They're my progeny. I brought them here. You know how they used to say, I brought you here, I'll take you out. Well, I'm not trying to take you out, okay? I'm trying to safeguard you and let everybody know that you have a provenance. And you have a provenance and a right to your inheritance. And so, yeah, if I'm talking to somebody who's a mom who's got 5 kids, I want to make sure she is putting baby deeds out there for all 5 of the babies. And if I'm wrong for doing that, well, I'm not going to apologize for that, okay? That's crazy.
May I?
Yeah.
So I still have my question about the recording secretary, but I can see we're heading down a different path here.
Okay, let's get back to that. Say it again. Ask the question again.
So regarding having been trained in the assembly and elected into the position as a recording secretary, and then being removed and banned from the assembly, you still have the training and the understanding and the knowledge. Is there a situation where you would witness documents and those documents would theoretically not be acknowledged?
So just for the record, did you know that 2 witnesses equals 1 public notary? Like 2 living men. Just any 2. So, number 1, I think you guys are working on building a proper assembly with standing. And if you are, then you can just elect your recording secretaries in. What is recording secretary training? Well, you need to know what your process is going to be on your nation for where you're going to put your paperwork and how are you going to handle the paperwork, basically. Okay. Because I kept asking the question, like, what is the training for the recording secretaries? And our previous leadership could never tell me what the damn training was. Like, what is the training? So I asked Anna, because, I just am dumb and I don't know what it means. And so I said, Anna, what is the training anyway? And she's like, what are you talking about, recording secretary training? Literally, she said that. And I said, well, I heard that it could take us up to a year or 6 months to go through recording secretary training. And she was like, what? And I said, that's what I was told. And she was just like, um, what are you talking about? I said, well, I don't know what the training is besides maybe I have to learn how to use the LRO. And she goes, right. That's probably all it is. And I said, I don't think it's going to take me a year to learn how to do that. And she said, well, I hope not, because doing the paperwork it's harder to do than using the LRO. And I said, okay. And that was the answer I got for the recording secretary training. Now, since then, knowing the paperwork, I think it's important for all of us to go through the paperwork, be knowledgeable about the paperwork, have ideas about what each document is doing for us and what the benefits are. So we have talked about that on our International Business Assembly pillar. If you want to watch the recordings of the North Carolina and IBA, just to see like what we're talking about with the papers, like what does it mean? And there are a lot of assemblies. Like I know Tammy Healy on New Jersey does a lot of she has a paperwork video where she's going over the paperwork with people. And I think anybody can watch it and learn from it. It's like, just to know what each of the documents mean. And outside of that, 2 living men equals 1 witness. So the jurat block, it could just be 2 witness slots instead of an actual jurat block. It could just say, you do the, like, for example, the deed of reconveyance document, and at the bottom have 2 witnesses and then have them autograph on there for you. And that covers it. But, getting recording secretaries is helpful because that recording secretary's job is to help everyone, first of all, just get their initial paperwork in. On North Carolina, one of the priorities that we have is like just get their 2 witnesses and get their, 1779 in first. And then they can take their time getting the rest of it in, like if they don't have enough money for all of it or whatever, or time, or just anything. Just do this basic thing, get them their GFG account, and then they can take their time doing the rest of the paperwork, getting it all in, because initially they got the basic stuff. And even on Bucolic Living Law, if you open an account on our Bucolic Living Law system, if you don't give me your 1779 and your 2 witnesses to just activate your account, then your account will they're going to start deleting them for anybody who hasn't uploaded stuff. And we're not letting people upload whatever in the world they want. Like some people only want to get their land patents or whatever up there, well, you first have to put your 1779 and 2 witnesses before we'll let you do that, because we're only serving Anna's assembly people, meaning like anybody who has not, I shouldn't say assemblies, anyone who has declared using Anna's paperwork is who we're supporting. You don't have to actually be on an assembly. And so if you do the 3 basic docs, then from there, you'll have the ability to upload things that you want to put on there. And then we put our eyes on everything and approve it or reject it. And why will we reject it? It doesn't have a wet ink signature on it, like a wet ink autograph, right? That means you're not alive. We're not taking digital signatures. We're making sure that, did you know, and you might not know this, but using a variety of fonts is also a jurisdictional thing. You can't do that. This is an art class, okay? And so you have to use a basic like Times New Roman font for these documents. Also, the way that our lawful documents are, there's jurisdiction on the page. So right hand, the right justified and center justified is where you have the creditor listed on any document, and left justification is the debtor. So obviously we aren't going to be autographing on the left. We're going to be autographing on the right or in the center. This is just like some basic parts and pieces. If you want a really great education, then number one, you should know that we only operate on land jurisdiction on America in basic English. And so we follow, like, for example, the Chicago Manual of Styles. So you don't make lawful paperwork with, all your cursive, fonting, whatever types that, and like I said, it's not art project. Okay. This is all about grammatical formatting that you would use based on like Chicago Manual of Styles. What else, Joanne? Come on, bring it.
Okay, so the having the paper records is kind of a big deal. So I'm really glad that we had
Kind
that
of.
conversation. So in Canada, we have been doing kind of 3 tiers of paperwork. The 928 package, which I think everybody is familiar with, mailing it to yourself, and posting a précipe. Is the posting of the précipe a required piece of that process?
Okay, now we're getting into Canadian versus American
Okay.
kind of a law thing. So is that because you guys were still trying to establish your assembly, so you're using the postal court, it sounds like, to create the court of record for your document, putting it on the public record, I think is what you're doing by doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, you want that. And then when you receive it, then I would keep it sealed,
Yes.
because now that ledger can be presented, because that becomes a ledger. And then that ledger can be presented if you ever have to defend your standing.
Correct.
So, so you just take it back when you get it back, and now you want to keep it in a fire safe or, your freezer. Just put it in a plastic or vinyl, whatever, some kind of cover, protected cover, and put it in a freezer and get back to life.
Right. Okay. So for the 928, having done and completed that level of paperwork and raising your hand indicating you want to be an active participant in the assembly and have an ability to sit on committees, be elected, and be in an active role. And then the basic assembly package, the 1779 document with 2 witness statements, fee scheduled, again, mailed to yourself. And then we've had the G string, which is the documents uploaded to Global Family Group, but not mailed to yourself. So what is the
Yeah.
distinguishment between mailing to yourself and not, insofar as do both of those individuals, whether they've mailed to themselves or not, have the right to vote in assembly matters?
Okay, first of all, when you are sending it back to yourself, you're just getting it, you're just putting it through the postal court. That isn't really publishing it. So when you go to GFG or Bucolic, now you're publishing it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have to publish it. So I'll give you Terra Australis as an example. So what they did was when they sent that through the mail, then what they have a registered mail number, or they have the international, or whatever, what's it called? Priority Mail Express mail
Yes.
number.
The
So
sticker. Yeah.
when you have that number, what they were doing was they were taking those stickers associated with the people, the living man and woman names. And so, like, basically your acts of expatriation names, varieties with that number. And then they were publishing it in a newspaper.
Yes, that's the Praecipe, and we have been doing that both with the 928 and with the basic. The
Yes.
Praecipe,
Yes.
including the registered mail numbers. Yes.
Okay, that Praecipe, if you put it on Bucolic Living Law as a public notice, it's just published and everyone can see it because they can't see it from GFG.
Correct.
It costs $10 to do it, like one page. But I mean, if you on your assembly, like, think about what I'm saying. If it fits on one PDF, well, one PDF is $10 to upload. Okay. So you can put a lot of things on one PDF.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are misunderstanding what we're asking about. The reason that we're charging per page is because when you put something on notice, we have to actually print the damn thing out.
Mm.
And we're archiving it for the rest of eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're charging you. I don't think $10 is a lot of money for that. For one page that we got to keep up with for the rest of eternity.
Got it.
Right.
So we're not sending you paper.
Right. You're creating an account. So what you could do, because we're not ready for all Canadians to set it up yet, because you don't even know what your land is or what it's going to be called or what. There's so much confusion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what we could do for the Canadians, and no one's asked me to do it yet. So whenever you guys get yourself together and you want this, you can ask us to create a Canadian Assembly account for you. And then you can just post the notices for people on your assembly, and just know what it's going to cost per page.
Yes.
And so then you can be very thoughtful about what you want to publish on that page. So perhaps you get everybody whose hard records that you have, put them in alphabetical order, put their recipes and their names together on a, I don't know, Excel spreadsheet, and then make it for every page that turns out to be on a PDF. Do you follow what I'm saying? Then you can publish that. So you're publishing multiple names and numbers on one document, but you're doing that for your assemblymen,
Yes.
Otherwise, each individual Canadian also can just spend their own $10 and do it for their family members or something,
Yeah.
Because that way everybody has the power to do that, right?
We will be asking that, but I know that you need a really clear ask from us, and we don't have a clear ask yet in regards to the boundaries. And you mentioned about the postal codes, et cetera, before. So we're not prepared yet with the information to do the ask.
Sure.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Good. I hope that's helping a lot of people. Annie, I'm going to let you go. And then after that, y'all, we're going to wrap this up because we keep going long every week, but there is so much to talk about, and it's important that we all get this information cleaned and cleared up. So I yield the floor to you, Annie.
Okay. So basically, Christine's kind of answering me in the chat here because I want to get my land patent. I went through Ruth Bennett and she helped like do all the stuff that we needed to do. We published it in the paper. We have we have all the certified original land patent, the chain of title and all that. And so now I'm at the place where I have my stack. And there's this little box that's on there that says for the land recording, there's a number to put the land recording to put it on the LRO. And it's like, well, we don't have access to that because of all the crazy captured stuff going on. So I want to post it on the Bucolic Living Law, but I'm wondering, do I still need that number? And Christine was saying, do registered mail and put it through, mail it to myself and leave it in my package as my, I guess, my court of record, my evidence of my land patent. And then the rest of it, I guess I would take that number and then just upload it and do the public notice on Bucolic Living Law. Notary. I can't hear you.
I kind of know what you're saying, and I kind of want to see what you're talking about. Because first of all, you're on America, and we can do different things. So, and your account, you actually have an account already, and you have a space on there for you to upload your land documents.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be like what I'm talking to Joanne about as a public notice. I mean, you say you already published in a newspaper.
Yep.
And
I have
so
a receipt on
it
that.
would be these documents that you have. There's a place when you log into Bucolic, then there's tabs. So you have your status documents, but then you have land documents. And you
Yes.
have private documents. And, so click over to land and then upload your land stuff there.
Okay. So just
And as
ignore the
far
little
as
box for the recording number.
the number means nothing to, I mean, everywhere that you publish, like if you want, you have a recording number on Bucolic because you have an account on Bucolic.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So then that becomes the number.
That's your number.
Oh, fantastic.
That's your number. But for your land patent, you ran it through the postal court.
No, I don't think so. I think we just have done all the pieces and now it's all ready to go.
Well, I would mail it back to yourself like a recipe, like what she's saying, because then you run it through the postal court, and then that postal court now is a record of that, and that number is what I would use because that you want to run everything through their court.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right. My second question
is a court of record, just so we're clear.
It's perfect. Now that's the final, just a couple little pieces where I was like, okay, the training that I had and now what we have to do. So, and it makes it so much easier for everybody else to be able to do this. So
but remember also that when the bank opens, then Global is going to be providing us with, a land service.
Okay.
And so that land service, which is going to be local on each state, each town. Okay. So Aiden was asking earlier about our banks. Well, we're going to have physical brick and mortars locally as well because the central bank is a fraud. Yes. And they're going to have to yield, which our army should enforce. So that's what the Federation's working on. And then those are our freaking buildings because they can't own anything on our land and soil. Only Americans can own American land and soil.
Yep.
Not the U.S. Fate Corporation or any other corporation. No corporation can own anything because they're not even alive. Only people of substance can own things of substance like the land and soil. Okay? Yep. So there's that. Agreed. And this is another big piece that our military guys need to fully comprehend. That's all our peacekeepers need to comprehend it because that's what you have to enforce. It's what we're trying to educate the sheriffs for because all the sheriffs that are currently in office have the ability to uphold the Constitution, and they should. And we should require them to do that. And
Instead of acting like domestic terrorists. Yes.
well, I think that, I mean, North Carolina just noticed our sheriffs, and I think that it'll be a relief to our sheriffs to know that they actually can serve the people and be at peace and be in peace and actually spread peace and love and not, you know, trying to go around arresting people and killing them and whatever else kind of nonsense. Because who has that energy that you have to use to go and oppress people is freaking expensive energy. Okay. And it is so much more appropriate for them to want to just go and love on people than to try to fight with them and hate them and, enforce anything on them. Right. I think the men are going to be relieved because, frankly, our enforcers are probably the biggest hearted teddy bears in most of the cases, you know?
On many of the counties, yes. On some. All
Right.
right. My second
Well,
question
there's
was
some of them who are they misunderstand.
very much so.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out on Bucolic Law and asked for the special document preparation services to claim all of my children and grandchildren and to void old marriage contracts.
I'm going to talk to you about that separately. I haven't had time to
Okay.
respond to you.
Okay.
But I do have your message um, and I'm going to need a lot of people to know how to do that on all the
Oh, I
states.
would love to help.
So, right. I'd really like for people I'd like to be able to tell people, just go talk to Annie,
I would love that, and I will be able to bring it forward because there's a lot of people who've been asking me, and I would, if you've got a document that's already one whole thing, we can just
It's not
bang.
about the document, and that's what I have to talk to you about. It requires a long conversation. And again, I'm not going to be like typing that one. Me and you have to talk. So I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks. I yield.
Excellent. Yeah, because people need to know how to do that, and everyone will be able to do that. Also, I wonder what it's going to be like on the new earth after Anna gets her way with all the things, because she is dissolving all their 10 billion um, policies and procedures. Definitely for American land and soil. So, she wanted to try to make it so that everyone, I think there's also this confusion that people think that she's going to presume upon all the people who have the birth certificate fraud on the land and soil. But I know she's saying there won't be that birth certificate thing going forward because we'll presume and assume everyone is an American who's being born. And so if they're not an American being born, they're going to have to distinguish themselves going forward. But as far as all the ones that are already born, they're going to have to use their voice, I think. And so I want her to be clear on that piece because I'm watching a lot of people who are confused, who think that she's going to presume upon everyone right now. And I don't think she's going to do that because that's unlawful and illegal. And it was the way in which the de facto committed the great fraud in the first place, because it was unlawful and illegal for them to change someone's political status. And so I don't believe she's going to behave unlawfully and illegally by changing their political status. So I think everyone's going to have to choose what they want. But I am happy to be corrected if I'm wrong about that, because I know most Americans think that they are Americans. Cool. Is everybody good? It's been over 2.5 hours. So I am ready to go. And I hope that all of you guys are looking forward to a fantastic new week. And I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to do next Saturday. I think I want to, because I think that I'm going to want to have a little sanity break. But I might just not. It might not be that long. But I'm planning to go live next Saturday. If anybody wants to join me and bring any questions. All right. And if I change my mind at the last second for some reason, I'll put it out on my Telegram, and hopefully you won't be mad at me if I do that. But I think I'm gonna stick to it and do it. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a
Have a
Thank
good
you
day.
so much. You too, guys.
Thank you, Nethi, and everybody.